The question on the lips of every Nigerian is, why is everyone talking about Mr. Peter Obi? Why is the establishment talking about Mr. Peter Obi? Why is the opposition talking about Mr. Peter Obi? Why are the media houses using the name of Mr. Peter Obi on every of their caption? What exactly is happening? What has Mr. Peter Obi done? Peter Obi, the former governor of Anambra State and the Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 presidential election, has become a thorn in the flesh of Nigerians' political class. Peter Obi's bold ideas, especially his promise to serve just one 4-year term if elected president, have shaken the foundation of a system built on entitlement, power hoarding, and corruption. Peter Obi's vision challenges the long-standing norms of Nigerian politics, where Nigerian leaders cling to power for as long as possible, often at the expense of the people they claim to serve. Peter Obi's single-term pledge is seen as a direct attack on the political establishment. The Nigerian politicians are terrified of letting Nigerians experience the kind of governance that Mr. Peter Obi has promised them. This is the reason why they are talking about him. This is the reason why they are attacking him. This is the reason why the oppositions are attacking Mr. Peter Obi. This is the reason why the media houses are talking about Mr. Peter Obi. But why is it so? In Nigeria, politics is often a game of ego and entitlement. Politicians, especially those from the dominant parties like the All Progressive Congress, the APC, and the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, view power as their birthright. The expectation is clear. Once elected, a leader should aim for the maximum constitutional limit of 8 years in office, regardless of their performance. This mindset has become a tradition, a norm that ensures politicians remain in power long enough to amass wealth, build patronage network, and cement their influence. Mr. Peter Obi's declaration that he will serve only one 4-year term disrupt this deeply ingrained culture. Mr. Peter Obi's pledge is not just a campaign promise. It's a deliberate rejection of the idea that leadership is about personal gain or prolonged dominance. By vowing to step down after 4 years, he signals that leadership should be about service, not entitlement. This stand directly undermines the demigod status that many Nigerian politicians cultivate, where they see themselves as indispensable rulers who must stay in power to maintain their relevance. The political class perceive this as an attack because it exposes their obsession with clinging to power, even when they fail to deliver on promises like improving the economy, reducing insecurity, or tackling corruption. Mr. Peter Obi critics have labeled his single-term vote as a sign of desperation, or even question his mental stability, suggesting that no rational politician will willingly limit their time in office. This reaction reveals their discomfort with a leader who prioritizes results over longevity. Obi has repeatedly challenged Nigerians to investigate his record, stating, "You will find no stains of rigging or violence associated with my name. I've always chosen the path of peace, principle, and civility." His clean political record and emphasis on fair competition threaten a system where electoral malpractice, thuggery, and vote buying are often the tools of choice to secure and maintain power. Mr. Peter Obi's 4-year single-term proposal is more than just a timeline. It is a blueprint for transformative governance that could upend the way Nigeria is run. Peter Obi argues that a sincere and focused leader can achieve significant change in just 4 years. He points to global examples like Abraham Lincoln, who served one term as US president, and Nelson Mandela, who chose to step down after one term in South Africa, leaving lasting legacies through principled leadership. Obi believed that Nigerians' problems, corruption, wasteful spending, weak institutions, and unfair elections can be tackled head-on within 48 months if leadership is driven by integrity and purpose. This vision is a direct threat to Nigerians' political establishment because it challenges the very practices that keep them in power. Peter Obi is not just talking, he's walking the talk. It's an embodiment of what he has done. During his tenure as governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi was known for his frugality, leaving office with a rare budget surplus. He has promised to redirect resources from extravagant government spendings, like the purchase of new presidential jets, to critical areas like education, healthcare, and infrastructure. This approach terrifies politicians who rely on bloated budgets and unchecked spending to siphon public funds for personal gain. Mr. Peter Obi's commitment to fighting corruption is just not rhetoric. He has challenged critics to find any evidence of corrupt practice tied to him, famously stating, "Go and see whether there is anywhere a kobo of Anambra State money is missing." Mr. Peter Obi emphasizes the importance of strong independent institutions to ensure accountability and justice. He has promised to uphold the rule of law and create a system where no one is above scrutiny. This is a nightmare for politicians who benefit from weak institutions that allow them to manipulate elections, evade justice, and maintain their grip on power. The most significant threat to the political class is Obi's promise to ensure transparent elections. Nigerians' electoral process has long been marred by allegations of rigging, violence, and voter intimidation. Obi's history of challenging electoral malpractice, including his successful court battles to reclaim his mandate as Anambra State governor, show he's serious about reforming the system. Free and fair elections will level the playing field, making it harder for entrenched politicians to manipulate outcomes and stay in power. All these promises of Mr. Peter Obi resonate with millions of Nigerians, especially the youth, who make up 70% of Nigerian population and are frustrated with decades of mismanagement. This is the reason why he is drawn to millions of Nigerian youth, and his supporters, known as the Obedience Movement, see him as a rare principled leader who can deliver the change they crave for. Mr. Peter Obi's ability to energize young voters and build a grassroots movement outside the traditional APC-PDP dominance has already disrupted the political landscape, making him a formidable threat to the status quo. This is what is causing the disruption. This is what is causing the anger among Nigerian politicians. The fear among Nigerian political elite is not just about Obi's policies, but about what his success will mean for their survival. Good governance, as Obi's envisioned it, will expose the failures of the current system and dismantle the structures that allow corruption and incompetence to flourish. Mr. Peter Obi's presidency will expose a lot of rot in this country and will disrupt their political landscape. A successful 4-year term by Obi will set a new standard for leadership in Nigeria. If he delivers on his promises, reducing corruption, improving infrastructure, and holding free election within that 4 years, it will prove that Nigeria can function without the patronage networks that politicians rely on. This will weaken the grip of the APC and PDP and other political bigwigs in Nigeria, who have dominated politics since 1999 dawn of democracy, and make it harder for them to justify their relevance. Mr. Peter Obi's focus on fiscal prudence and accountability will shine a spotlight on the wasteful spending and corrupt practices that have become normalized. For example, he has criticized the government decision to spend trillions on unnecessary expenses while neglecting critical sectors. Politicians who thrive on skimming public funds or awarding inflated contracts to cronies will face increased scrutiny and potential prosecution. Mr. Peter Obi's popularity among young Nigerians, fueled by his social media service supporters and the Obedience Movement, has already shifted the political conversation. If he succeeds, the youth, who represent the majority of voters, will demand more from future leaders, rejecting the old guard promises of change that never materialize. This shift could permanently alter Nigeria's political landscape, making it harder for entrenched politicians to rely on ethnic, religious, or financial manipulations to win elections. Mr. Peter Obi's single-term pledge challenges the idea that leadership is about staying in power for as long as possible. By stepping down after 4 years, he will set a precedent that could inspire other leaders to prioritize service over self-interest. This will be a direct affront to politicians who view 8 years terms as their right regardless of their performance. Mr. Peter Obi, an Igbo man from the southeast, represents a marginalized region that has not produced a precedent. Mr. Peter Obi's rise challenges the power-sharing arrangement that have favored certain regions and ethnic groups, particularly the north and the southwest. The political class fears that his success could upset these delicate balances, leading to demand for greater inclusion and equity. The attack on Mr. Peter Obi's single-term pledges are a clear sign of the political establishment anxiety. Critics like Bayo Onanuga, a spokesperson for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, have accused Peter Obi of inconsistency and opportunism, questioning whether he can transform Nigeria in just 4 years when he couldn't fully transform Anambra in 8. Others have suggested that his promise is a publicity stunt or a sign of mental instability, reflecting their disbelief that any politician will willingly limit their time in power. These criticisms are not just about Obi's character, they are attempts to discredit his vision and protect the status quo. The political class has tried severally to undermine Peter Obi by pointing to controversies like the Pandora Papers, which reveal offshore accounts he failed to declare. Peter Obi has maintained that these were legitimate business dealings from his time as a businessman, not evidence of corruption. But his opponents use these allegations to paint him as no different from the corrupt politicians he criticized. This tactic is meant to erode public trust in Peter Obi and discourage Nigerians from believing in his vision of good governance. If Peter Obi were to win the presidency and fulfill his 4-year pledge, the impact could be transformative. His focus on fiscal prudence, anti-corruption measures, institutional reform, and credible elections could lay the foundation for a new Nigeria. By prioritizing education, healthcare, and infrastructure, he could address the immediate needs of millions of Nigerians living in poverty. By strengthening institutions and ensuring the rule of law, he could create a system where accountability is the norm, not the exception. And by conducting free, fair, and credible elections, he could empower Nigerians to choose leaders based on merit, not manipulation. Peter Obi's single-term presidency will also set a powerful example for future leaders. It will show that leadership is about delivering results, not clinging to power. It will challenge the culture of entitlement that has plagued Nigerian politics for decades and inspire a new generation of leaders who prioritize service over self-interest. Most importantly, it will give Nigeria a taste of good governance, something the political class fears because it could raise expectations and make it harder for corrupt, incompetent leaders to thrive. Peter Obi's 4-year single-term proposal is more than a campaign promise. It is a direct assault on the ego, entitlement, and the demigod status of Nigerian political establishment. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.